following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Sitting down and designing, why every man never thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't test me. Big up the girls inside the party, let's get down to crazy Jimmy. Big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
Bitch, I'm your wanna be, Jimmy Star, new celebrity.
We'll take you out to Jimmy Stars.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good. Welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, bringing you the good times in music, fashion, pop culture, and entertainment. Chat room, I'm working on getting in there. I totally forgot to set up the computer. Ron told me I'm getting old, and so I forgot to set up the computer, but I'm on my phone just in it so I can do it, but I will get the computer going. In the meantime, we have a great show for you guys today. We have the fabulously talented Tony Moore coming on the show again. We love him. Everybody loves him, and we also have up-and-coming singer-songwriter Alexis Marrero. It's going to be a lot of fun, but before we get started, let me introduce my cool, outrageous co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
Who's suffering terribly. The winds are blowing in the Coachella Valley in Palm Springs like you cannot believe. It's like Arabia. And the fine dust, what happens is the sand spins around and it makes itself into fine dust. That fine dust goes in our nose, in our mouth, and in our eyes. Look at my eyes. I'm about to sneeze. I can't stand this dust anymore. I really am done with the desert. I am so over the desert. I cannot wait to get back to Long Island, which is surrounded by ocean and water. It'll be so nice to breathe in salt air instead of desert sand. I don't really believe that the desert was meant for anyone to live in. I honestly don't believe it. It's all over. It's not just Palm Springs. It's Palm Desert, Rancho Mirage, all over. The whole Coachella Valley is just one big windstorm. In fact, they have plows out plowing the sand off the roads like they do back east when it snows. And I found that very curious because all the white sand is right over the road. You can't drive. These are certain roads down here. They closed them. The other day, all these roads were closed because the wind was so bad. My daughter Deirdre, who has a fairly new car, got caught in the sandstorm, and her finish on her car is dull now because the sand acts as sandpaper, and it spins around the car and the windshield, so it'll pit your windshield and your auto. Speaking of autos, dreadful what's in the news about the Tesla. The Tesla's auto drive is killing more people, and their cars are exploding now when they crash. So please don't use your auto drive on any of the cars that you have.
I'm glad we didn't get it.
I'm glad we didn't get it either. But you know what? I'm worried because other people have it, and they could crash into us. So it's very dangerous. They're not perfected yet. They pull to the right, I believe, is what they said. Don't use it. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. It's safer for you, for me, and for everybody. Those are my words of the day.
We want to give a shout out to Cindy Lady Lake. Thank you for all your promotion. Cindy Diadamo is also known as Lady Lake Music around the world as a phenomenal music promoter.
How come she's Lady Lake? Was she like in the lake?
That's the name of her business, Lady Lake Music.
But where did she get Lake from? Veronica Lake? I mean, where did Lake come from? Ask her. I have to know. Lady Lake, why aren't you like Lady Pond or Lady River or Lady Ocean or Lady Swamp? Why are you Lady Lake? I have to know.
Yeah, I can't get into this other chat room, so it'll be funny to see. So
I must know. The Inquirer wants to know.
So also, you guys, anybody who likes werewolf stuff, next year Ron and I are doing a werewolf movie. It's called Dog Moon, and so I'm watching. As I'm working in the office, I'm watching all kinds of werewolf stuff. And if you guys see Wolfpack on Paramount Plus, the TV series, it was really good. And I'm going to watch Teen Wolf next.
Yeah, but I don't play a werewolf.
No, you don't play a werewolf.
I wanted to. I play a cop. Right
I know, but we're also doing a
What am I-
vampire one, and you'll get to play a vampire.
Well, I'm starring in. I'm
no, a different one. Two vampire ones. Yes.
I'm starring, folks.
I don't
Me
know
a
why this
star.
confused
Ooh, I'm starring in a movie called O Negative, and I play a vampire, but a gay vampire who has a daughter, and it's a very interesting script. It's full of fantasy. I love the script. If it goes the way the script is, and the director is great. The director is Jennifer James, and she's fabulous. So if it's done the way it's written, it's going to be a great movie. I love it.
Also, so Cindy said that she came up with the name Lady Lake Music. It's from a book called Mists of Avalon, and had the Lady of the Lake who ruled Avalon. So she's Lady Lake. And B. Claudia just joined us from Germany. Hey, B.
How's your water and your dampness?
Terrible. She's terrible.
And all your flooding. I mean, it's awful. But like I wrote, there is a tomorrow and it's better. So don't live in yesterday or today. If you're stepping in shit, step out of it, as I always say.
So she's trying.
It's awful what has happened, but there's a sunny day coming, and there's all kinds of great stuff ahead for you.
Absolutely.
So don't
B.
let this throw you for a loop, sweetie pie.
Love
I
ya.
never do. I have so much crap thrown at me. I never let it get me. If I did, I would look at Donald Trump. I mean, that man is incredible what he's going through. I think anybody else would have committed suicide or dropped dead. I couldn't go through that hatred that he has from all over the world. I mean, the world hates him. The media did a good job of that. Read my post today on Facebook. I wrote something very interesting about other presidents that we've had that were far worse than Trump will ever be. And I'm not sticking up for Trump. I'm not going there. I'm just saying I feel sorry for the guy. All he wanted to do was to help make us better, I guess. In his mind, he firmly believes that what he does is great. And for that, you're being victimized. And I don't think that's fair. I think he should go on his merry way and leave politics and go enjoy all his money, Mar-a-Lago, his beautiful wife, and his handsome son. Life is very short, Mr. Trump. Don't waste it with this bullshit. If they hate you, fuck them. Just go about your business. That's what I would do. I would certainly not stick around for more and more and more and more. No. As I wrote, he made a mark already. He set the pace for other Republicans. So if Trump doesn't run for office, it's okay. The other ones that are going to run for office are going to follow what Trump believes in, because the Republicans believe so strongly in what they think, and the Democrats believe strongly in what they think. I believe in both, because there's good and bad in both. If we could only get the Democrats and the Republicans together to do the good stuff, boy, would we be a powerful country, instead of fighting at each other, saying terrible things about each other. I mean, it's ridiculous. Years ago, everybody was a Republican, Democrat, nobody gave a damn.
All right, let's quit the Republican Democrat stuff.
I mean, Jane Russell was a super duper Republican. I never judged her on it. I loved her. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares?
All right, you guys, I'm trying to get in on a regular computer.
Get
But
in
in the
on a
meantime,
regular
let's
computer.
B. Claudia has joined us from Georgia. From Germany.
Yeah,
Georgia.
from Georgia. You went to Georgia.
Let me do a quick little commercial thing. We want to thank everybody for tuning in every week. You can hear us on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Prime. We're also on a bunch more. And but those are the main different ones. And what I think we're going to do, so Tony Moore is backstage. We're going to bring him on in a second. I think we'll open up with doing a song, because I've got two different videos we're going to play with him. Since he's not supposed to come on for 5 minutes, we're going to play a song that he sent us to play. It's called On My Own. This is Tony Moore. So enjoy.
Own.
No, it's not that one. All right, everybody. So check this out. We're going to play On My Own by Tony Moore. When we come back, we'll have him live.
Ooh.
I hear words everywhere, and I know that it's you. You're trying to complete. And I try to be me without you, you see. And I try to find what is mine, one day at a time, and show you that I can shine on my own, on my own, on my own. And that beautiful noise, that magical voice is telling me you are free. And I try to be me without you, you see. And I try to find what is mine, one day at a time, and show you that I can shine on my own, 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 on my own.
Hey, everybody, that was Tony Moore. The name of the song was On My Own, and now we're going to bring him in.
It's a good song.
Say hello. It's a great song.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron. Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Ron. Good to see
I
you.
love it.
Let me take my glasses off. Oh, I see you better now.
Good, good. Listen, what was that shot in New York and green screen? Are you green screened?
Well, the video was shot in London, and right now I'm in London, but the background
You
is
look like
Soho.
New York.
The backhound is Soho, he said. Yeah.
Oh, the back.
Well,
so you,
Right
you did-
now it is, but in the video it was London.
Oh, shit.
Oh, so you did it on green screen.
No. That was a
that
live
was
shoot in London. One camera, one shot shoot.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it
Oh,
was
it looked
green
like
screen.
Soho.
Yeah, it looked like New York. It's amazing how the world is starting to look alike, huh?
So hold on. Let me
So
do
how
it.
have you been?
Hang on, wait. Let me do an introduction for everybody.
Oh, okay.
And I'm trying to find us on YouTube.
He's
still
getting
here.
old. I got to get a younger one.
So you
He's
guys,
senile.
now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the godfather of live music in London. Rock star Tony Moore. Hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yes, we're happy
Good
to have
you
you.
back. We have to hear all about what's happening since the last time.
So hold on. First, before we do that, I don't have to introduce Ron because you know him, but say hi to Cindy Lady Lake, and B. Claudia in the chat room because they love you and they're super happy that you're here.
Absolutely. Well, we've been kind of staying in touch after the last few shows. And I know she's had a few challenges recently, but hi, B, sending you lots of love. And of Cindy, of course, we go back a long way. Cindy's been a wonderful, positive support in my life. And I'm very blessed to have such wonderful people in this world that take an interest and take care.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, but
They're
she's
terrific.
she's changing her name from Cindy Lady Lake to Cindy Swamp.
Well, it doesn't seem to have the same kind of romantic nature, does it?
That's
I've been
hilarious.
teasing her since we started the show about her name. I asked her where did the lake come from, and she explained how she became Cindy Lady Lake. We've all been inspired to change our names by someone in the world. I took Jane Russell's name. My name is not Russell. My last name is different. But I love Jane since I'm 16. And the best part was I became her lifelong friend, best friend, buddies.
Wow.
By the way, they're both saying hello and thank you, and they're excited to see you, and we can find out. And by the way, I love that new song.
And he just interrupts
Matt-
what I say. See, he has no manners.
That's
at all.
okay. I love that song though. That's a really good song. I mean, every time we come on, you have at least one. I mean, I know you have a ton of new songs, but you have at least one song that's really because that one was really good.
Thank you. Well, to be honest, it's a slightly older song now, but I've been doing it in my live set, and people have just been circling back to this song, going, "Can you play it again?" And it's starting to have another little life. So people have, and for me, it has an extra little meaning because I think I haven't spoken to you guys for a little while now, and I lost my mum in July of last year, and this song is about when you lose someone you love, letting them know that you're going to be okay on your own, that you're going to shine, you're going to make them proud, and just knowing that you're going to miss them, but you can carry on your own.
Absolutely,
I tell
beautiful.
that to Jimmy every day. I'm a star. I shine bright. He will maybe if he follows my footsteps. That's what your song is saying, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Actually,
our
everybody
song,
loves
Jimmy.
it, though. They love it.
It'll be our anniversary song, Jimmy.
On my own. I just love it. So it's fantastic. So Life is Good.
Wait a second. Now about title.
Yes.
Isn't that an infringement on my own? Are you allowed to do that?
I am allowed to do that. And here's the interesting thing. There is no copyright in title.
Oh,
So-
really?
Yeah, if you look at all of the movies out there that have got similar titles or the same titles over the years or the same songs, lots of people have written a song called Yesterday, and it's not the one that the Beatles wrote or Paul McCartney wrote.
Years ago, you couldn't do that years ago.
I think you could, but I just think that it was something.
Not in my actors couldn't have the same names. Movie titles couldn't.
Oh,
It
well,
was
I
all
think but the acting thing, I think, is a more practical thing, isn't it? Because if you're booking an actor and you book Ron Russell, you don't want the wrong Ron Russell turning up. You want you, right? You want the star Ron Russell, not some.
There's another Ron Russell.
Oh no!
There is a Ron Russell, but I believe I was a Ron Russell before he was. I'm a lot older than he. He's about 60. I'm 83. So my name is first.
Well, On My Own, so there's On My Own, Michael McDonald. There's On My Own from Fame. Isn't that song called On My Own?
I don't know, but I know that my honey bunch, my sweetheart,
Who's your Honey Bunch
who's
sweetheart?
On My Own, who sings
Michael
that.
McDonald.
And Patti
Patti
LaBelle.
LaBelle. Oh, he's got this thing.
I think that's one of Patti's best songs. When she sings it with such emotion. Don't you agree that Patti LaBelle's quite a singer?
Oh, she's astonishing.
She is really fabulous. And we just lost Tina. Tina was outrageous.
Oh, I know, that's hard. Do you know, I went and saw the Tina musical in London like a month or so before that, and the musical is something that Tina was part of initiating and being part of creating it, her company and her personally, and it was the most amazing musical. I didn't think I was going to get so caught up and so moved by it, because not a lot of people kind of know the real backstory, and you think, oh, it's going to be like just lots of songs, which of course it is, but the whole story is really quite gripping and quite amazing. We were all dancing at the end. It was fantastic.
It's so funny because I didn't even know there was a Tina Turner musical, and then we were watching TV last night, and the commercial came on
I know.
last night for
She
Tina Turner in
she
LA.
really came up from the pits. I mean,
Yes.
she was beaten, abused, drug addict, drunk. She can't sing a note. She hasn't any talent in the music department, yet she was the most incredible entertainer in the world.
Yeah.
I was mesmerized by her when she performed with that gravelly voice. Couldn't hold a note, but was wonderful. She just sold it. She sold herself, and she made you jump. She made you go, and she will be greatly missed.
Yeah.
She already is. So let's I want to talk a little bit about first of all, let's tell everybody a little bit about who you like, all the things you've done. Tell everybody a little bit about all the different bands that you've been in, just so they have an idea, because I didn't know this, and I've had you on the show like 5 times, and I didn't know that you were part of the group Radio Java with the song Fool. And I was like Googling your name and stuff to come up, and then I saw you on Top of the Pops and like all this shit. That's like huge shit. And the song went to number
Must you
1.
say that word?
No, it's awesome.
you-
That song is really good. I should have saved it to play it, but I was
Do
afraid
you
we'd get
resent being
taken.
called top of the shit?
No, Top of the
I would. No, he likes it when people say Jimmy the shit.
Jimmy Star is the
He
shit.
lost shit. I mean, no, really. What you wanted people to say it. So I would be very offended if they said Ron Russell's a shit. I would say, excuse me.
But it's one of those strange words that is so multifunctional in language, isn't it? You can say it in so many ways, like "don't lose your,"
Shit.
or
You know what? It was done by morons. Anyone that created that saying is an idiot, as far as I'm concerned.
In the meantime, I have a Jimmy Stars is a shit video series that has like a place on it.
And I think
And,
it's hideous that all these famous people, Jimmy Stars is
So wait,
shit.
I want to go
Jimmy
back. So
Stars-
tell us about radio. Tell us a little bit because I didn't know anything about Radio Java.
right,
The name of the song is "Fool." Tell us a little bit about it.
So I'll give you the quickest thumbnail sketch. 1977, I've just left school. I answered an advert in a music magazine to join a rock band in London because I want to move to London from Bristol, my hometown. And the band turns out to be Iron Maiden. Now, this was Iron Maiden that wasn't famous at the time, but they were looking for a keyboard player. So I joined the band and spent quite a few months with the band rehearsing. And we did one very important gig that for me seemed like keyboards wasn't the right thing for the band. And so I left the band, and the lineup changed a few times before they finally got the deal. But we've kind of stayed in touch, different members of the band over the years, which has been really lovely. Then I joined a band with a guy called Brian James, who'd been in The Damned, which is one of the first punk bands in the UK, even ahead of the Sex Pistols. They had two big hit records called Neat, Neat, Neat and Euros. And for a year, it looked like we were going to be the big new thing. But that didn't work out. We toured with Black Sabbath, though, which was quite an experience.
Black
When Ozzy was still in the band. That's
You
amazing.
toured with Black Sabbath. They were interesting.
Wait, go
Yeah.
back.
They're from my day, Black Sabbath.
So when I lived in Florida, I was a clothing designer for about 25 years.
Again,
And I made like super funky clothes, really funky
Right.
clothes. And there was this place called the Culture Room. It's where every band went to play. It was like kind of like a small divey thing. But I was the opening act. I did a really funky, wild fashion show, and it was the opening for The Damned when The Damned played.
Wow. There you go. So
Awesome.
but there's no print on it. There's no film print or
Yeah, I
anything.
do. I have video of it.
Oh, you have a video of
Yeah, I just don't put it out because I had like dildos on drills spinning
that's-
around. It was really, really wild.
it? You know what?
Everybody in fetish
But
clothes.
I have to say, the people that do what Jimmy does with dildos on drills are nothing. All right?
Yeah.
You would think they're going to be wild and outrageous and creative. They're nothing. They're vanilla. Now you get somebody that's quiet like you, get them in bed, and they are degenerate. They're wonderful. They're sex fiends.
well, what are you trying to say here, Ron?
I'm trying to say, how's your love life, baby? Who we banging?
Let's not go there.
Who we banging this
So, all right,
week?
go back to the story. All right. So now we're in. We
Yeah,
opened
so
up Black
then I
Sabbath.
left that band for a short while. For a year or two, I joined a band called England that was like a version of Genesis kind of idea, very English progressive rock. And then I moved back to London, started writing songs with some friends, and got a deal with Carrere Records and got to make an album at Abbey Road. We were called Radio Java. And the reason I called this Radio Java is because it just didn't sound like, well, it was both good and bad. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. It was both good and bad, the name. It was good because it was just like a really random phrase. So I wanted something that didn't make you think of anything. It could be anything, right? We did the album and we're just about to start releasing things. And suddenly, this is 1983, 84, all these posters go up all across London saying Radio Gaga. And it was Queen about to release Radio Gaga. And suddenly there was this real confusion between Radio Java, Radio Gaga. It was like, it wasn't a good thing for us PR wise, because people didn't know what it was all about. And we got
Right.
kind of lost in the shuffle. Anyway, long story short, we put out this Christmas single called Fool that I'd written when I was a teenager. And some DJs from Holland had been in London buying records. This is obviously well before the internet, before streaming, and where if you wanted music, you had to buy the stuff, right?
Right.
And these DJs would come to London because obviously London and America were leading the world in music, as we proudly think we do. But they were buying singles of British artists that they thought would be big in in Europe, took it back, started playing it on the radio, and it became so popular, people ringing in and loving it, that it went to the top of what they call the tip charts, which is the airplay charts, right? So we were being played more than anyone else. So they flew us over there to do the Christmas Top of the Pop special. I think that's the video you're talking about, where I've got
Yes.
a lot of makeup and plucked eyebrows and
hair.
and hair. Yes, a very
Answer me a question. What do you think made the Beatles so popular? Well, I mean, they were an average rock band. They really didn't do anything spectacular. What made them the number one in the world? And did you ever meet them?
I've met Paul briefly a couple of times. Never met any of the other Beatles. I think it would be fair to say that the historical story of the Beatles arriving with this fabulous young energy at the beginning of the 60s, when teenagers were starting to become the dominant force at a time in America, particularly after Kennedy's assassination in November 63, where the mood needed some lifting. And by appearing on the Ed Sullivan Show, that was the only program, wasn't it, back in the day? It was like,
Right.
that was it, right? Everyone we watched that show. So that's like one shot at reaching almost everyone in America simultaneously. And the songs, maybe not the greatest songs in the world, but they came with an energy that kind of swept a
We actually
generation.
watch it. Ed Sullivan's on Sunday nights. We watch it every Sunday night now. They re-air them all.
The first time I ever heard the Beatles, I was driving back to New York from Florida, and I heard "I Want to Hold Your Hand." And it kept me awake, and I loved it. And I kept waiting for it to come back on the radio because I drove straight through 21 hours. So to me, I love that. Today, "I Want to Hold Your Hand" is a great song.
Absolutely.
I think they happened to hit with a great song, one, and made it everything else better.
Yep. And
That's it. You need, like everybody says, you need one good hit.
Absolutely.
And then
And then-
Back, go ahead.
anyway, so that was the Radio Java thing, but unfortunately, we never got the record released in time to make the most of the airplay. So by the time January came around, the whole Christmas hitness of it had
Right.
gone, and people weren't interested in it. So I left. The band split up, and then a year or so later, my friend Colin, who I'd been in the progressive rock band England with previously, and who'd also played in Radio Java doing some of the live shows with us, he was in a band called Cutting Crew, and he said, "We need a keyboard player." So I joined Cutting Crew, and then Died in Your Arms became a massive hit around the world. And in '87, we were touring with the Bangles and Huey Lewis and
The Bengals, yes.
I remember.
and Starship.
"Died in Your Arms Tonight" has to be like one of the greatest like pop rock songs like ever of like my lifetime.
Yeah,
Honestly, like one of the greatest songs like ever. Do you get to play that? Are you allowed to play that on your own, like without the band?
well, I do at times if people ask me to do it. It's like Nick, who's the singer who wrote the song, obviously is actually right now still being Cutting Crew. There's a whole new younger lineup of people who probably have been in the band longer than the original lineup. But it's a song that people still know because it's still played all the time, right? Wherever you go in the world.
Yes.
Every now and then you're going to hear it on the radio. You'll hear it in a computer game. People have been covering it and remixing it. So the 80s for me, the last part of the 80s were just incredible. And we actually did the Johnny Carson show on his birthday when David Letterman flew in to be a guest. And the show, I think the ratings were like 80 million or something crazy. And we were meant to do 2 songs, but they ran late. And as you know, it was a live show. And before they pulled the big curtain back, this guy stuck his head around and went, "We're running late, cut a song." And it was like, ah. So we didn't play "Died in Your Arms," which we were going to play first. And we played "Been in Love Before," which was going to be the next single because we obviously wanted to promote that. But we weren't ready for it because it was meant to come after the first one. So we were set for the first one, all the settings on the keyboards, all the things we needed. And then we would have played that would have stopped. Then we've had a minute or so to change things around and say a few words and then play the second one. So there's video of it online, and you see we look a little bit like we're kind of in the headlights of a car going, because it was live, right? The real deal. No backing track.
Oh yeah, that's just nice. Which I love that, and they don't do that as much anymore. But I think that's freaking
Well,
fabulous.
Johnny Carson was famous for cutting people out, and bringing them back. Maybe he'd say, "Well, they're coming back," but they never did.
Yeah.
My good friend Mr. Blackwell hated Johnny Carson
Oh, really?
because Johnny Carson was mean, and Johnny Carson was scripted. If you went off the script, he would kill you.
Ooh.
And Blackwell is like me, very outspoken. The 10 worst dress list. He was a very famous designer, and he
Right.
went off script. And Johnny Carson, after the show was over, said to him, "You will never, ever be on my show again, blah, blah, blah." And Blackwell said, "You know what? Go fuck yourself." And he walked out of the studio. And I love that story. Richard Blackwell told me that
Wow.
story many times at dinner. Yeah, Johnny Carson was tough. Did you find him tough?
Well, to be honest, we didn't really get to talk to him because we were behind the curtains ready to play. And he did that thing. He'd been talking with Letterman. He had another guest. And then he did that thing where he got the album cover up on the desk and he put it on the desk. And now we've got our special guests all the way from London, England, cutting crew, live on the show, And then we went straight into the song. So he said hello in makeup, but
You
we
never,
didn't interview him.
you never got a chance to sit there and talk to him.
No.
No, the bands never get to on any of those shows.
No, sometimes, Bette Midler had quite a few people that were with bands, and they sat with him. So it depended on who you were and who
I
he
think
liked.
so.
He wasn't a nice person, so what am I going to say? I never met him, but so far from everybody I've heard from, they didn't like
Right.
him.
So then, basically, in the '90s and the early 2000s, how long have you been basically a solo artist?
I guess really sort of since about 89, 90. But I kind of, the beginning of the 90s, I started working with this girl from Argentina called Marie Claire Dubaldo and ended up with her having this massive hit in Italy in 1994. So we spent a lot of time there, a song called The Rhythm is Magic. And then that was successful in Latin America and Russia and Japan, but never in England or the USA. And towards the end of the 90s, I was frustrated because there weren't any places to be a songwriter. So at heart, I'm a singer and a songwriter. That's my real passion. So I started a club called the Kashmir Club, just one night a week for me and other people like me that had original material. When in London, everybody just wanted noisy bands playing and Oasis and things like that. And it became so successful almost instantly that we were doing 2 nights a week within a couple of months. After 6 years of running it mainly on my credit card, we were up to 6 nights a week and just had the most incredible artists come and play. Sheryl Crow came and did a secret gig because she loved the venue. This is for like 80 to 90 people in an underground basement. You had to know. There was no sign outside. You just had to know to be there. It was a
So it's
scene.
like cool people, for the cool people.
Well, listen, I have a question for you.
Mhm.
I hope you answer it. Are you making money, or is your music being stolen?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, if it's being stolen, I don't know who's stealing it.
Every-
But I'm making. I have a shopping cart of income, if that makes sense. So I make money from lots of different little things. Some from royalties, some from live performances, some from programming music for other people and creating events for them. So it's
And writing, right? You
Well,
write for other people.
Right now, here in America, we're having a big war with these people that don't want to pay for streaming. Writers are not being paid. I'm sure you're aware of the strike
Yeah.
that we have going on in the business. How do you feel about not being paid for your music that's played and you get nothing?
Well, this is a really difficult subject because it's a slightly new, well, it's a new and a grey area of technology. So let me give you a very quick example. In the United Kingdom, every time as a writer, a song of mine is played on the radio, a percentage, a fee is paid per amount of music. So, for example, Radio 2 is the biggest radio station in the UK. It has about 8 million listeners. I'm going to make up a figure now, but it's a ballpark figure. They pay probably something in the region of £60 per minute of music that they played on air, right? And if a single is 3 minutes, that's £180. So let's call it £200 every time they play your single.
Okay,
And
give us a translation of £200.
Well, let's call it $200 then. It's just it's an arbitrary figure, right?
Yeah,
Because
No, but that's good because the people listen. What's her name? The fabulous singer who I love, the famous one. She won't record anymore.
Oh, Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks
Stevie
said.
Nicks, right.
Stevie Nicks said, "I am not recording anymore. I'm only doing concerts because every time I put out an album, they steal it." That's so. Can't they protect these performers, these artists?
Well, I think that once the music is in the digital domain, it's like anything. It can be shared and can be copied very easily. However, just to finish this analogy for you, every radio station pays a different amount depending on the amount of people listening. So if you've got a radio station with 10 people listening, you pay 0.0001p or 1 cent for
Right,
every
got
minute
it.
of music. But you've got 8 million, so you pay £60. Now, let's imagine you have a successful record. Now, let's say you've just released a record and they play it on the breakfast show on Radio 2 to 8 million people, right?
Right.
And you get paid £200 and you go, oh my God, I got one play. I got £200 and 8 million people listen to it. That's incredible, right?
No,
And
it's
it
not.
is. Well, it's one play. If they play it twice, then you get £400, over if it's a hit. But just one play, that's what you get paid. But 8 million people hear it, and there's a chance that they like it and want to
Maybe
know
they'll
more.
go buy
Yeah,
it.
but you see, it's the sponsors that are the criminals. Because if the sponsors don't have you to bring the people into the station to hear, then they don't sell their product. So they should, in turn, give you X amount of dollars for every person that comes into the show. If 8 million people are watching and they have a way of finding that out, they should give you a percentage of what 8 million people would buy of the product. That would be very fair.
Well, that would be great. But of course, I guess
That would be fair. because You're selling their shit. You're selling their crap that they can't unload.
I like the way you think, Ron. You're thinking outside the box, which is good.
No, I'm thinking it because, listen, I have movies that are out there. I don't get a penny because they're streamed. I have 4 movies, or I think 4 movies right now that are out that are streaming. And not Joe Kelly, not anybody that I know that I've worked with producers are getting a penny. And it's not fair. I mean, look, everybody.
The music and the film industry are actually very similar in the way that things are
We
happening.
are really up in arms.
So wait, let him
about
finish,
it.
though. Let him finish.
Yeah, go ahead. We're having a whole
And-
conversation.
well, all I was going to say was that in the streaming world, if 8 million people stream your song and you get paid £200, you say, this is terrible. I've only got £200 and 8 million people stream my song once. And it's the same number of people who've listened to your song once. But on the radio, it feels like you've achieved something because you broadcast it to 8 million people.
Right.
And because on Spotify, 8 million people have listened and you didn't earn, and I'm just, making the figures up more or less, but because nobody's buying anything in Spotify, they're just paying a monthly subscription to listen kind of when they want. So if someone buys your CD or someone buys your DVD of your movie, they can watch it as many times as they want after they paid $10 for it or $20 for it.
Right.
What $10?
Right.
Some performers are getting $1 or 75 cents.
Are we saying if you bought the movie?
Oh, if you bought the movie.
Yeah, if
So-
you bought the movie, then you could play it as much as you want. You never pay again.
Same thing with your CD.
Yeah, same thing with you. Now we
Absolutely.
have a very, very, very dear friend of ours, and her name is Cece Penningson,
Yeah.
and she's a singer of Finally.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Finally was used in the movie Priscilla, Queen of the Desert without her permission. They used it without giving her a penny or her permission. This is piracy. This cannot be. This is hideous. She's in some kind of a whatever with them for years fighting this. And it's sad what artists are being done to them.
I
So-
agree. I think the problem is in the streaming world, it has arrived very, very quickly.
We need laws.
And the industry has created a mechanism where the industry itself is making good money, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
the artists and the creators are not making the money
Correct.
anymore. And this is the disconnect that
Well,
needs to be addressed.
Let's say Netflix plays one of my old movies, right? They're making money because people subscribe to Netflix.
Yeah.
Without my movie and everybody else's movie, they have shit. So why don't we get something for it?
Ron pays $10 a month for his Spotify, so he can have. I don't pay for it.
Yeah, I
just
pay
use his.
$10 a month for Spotify. All right. Now, I don't pirate anybody's music. I really don't, honest and truly, because I would be a hypocrite. If my friend, like your music, if I like a song, I'll go on. I'll pay the big 75 cents,
99 cents.
99 cents. It's going to kill me, right?
He doesn't pay for
And
anything.
out of that 99 cents, what do you get? 15 cents if you're lucky. So
Yeah.
it's just criminal. It's all criminal. We've got to do something about it. And our show has over 5 million viewers right now. And I hope out of the 5 million viewers, some people are going to write in and say, hey, give these actors and producers and directors
And music people.
they're just.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think that, this transition has been so quick that it's been difficult to put into place the kind of protection, certainly for songwriters, to share in the income streams. In the old days, right, once you sold a record, some of that money went to the songwriters and the publishers.
Yeah, right.
And all of that, but that percentage is much cut back now, much smaller. So unless you've written a song for Adele, or unless you've produced The Weeknd, right, those are the figures that are making the money, right? The hundreds of millions of views.
Right.
And anything less than that it's almost negligible, the kind of income that's coming in.
You're right.
Well, Johnny Mathis has sold more albums than anyone in the recording business, more than Frank Sinatra. And Johnny Mathis, I know, I've met him 3 times, and I was dying to say to him, Johnny, did you ever make any money on those albums? But I wouldn't dare. I don't know him that well. But through the grapevine, I have heard that Johnny Mathis should have been a zillionaire, but is not. He still works. So obviously, his lifestyle and the
that
money.
was before streaming.
Yeah. And it was just on the sale of albums, because an album was $2.95. Heavenly was I bought it was $2.95, and Johnny got a little percentage of that. So they play his music on Spotify all the time. Chances are, all those wonderful songs that he created, and he doesn't get a penny.
I do get a penny, but it's like every 12.
I love Johnny Mathis
I forgot.
so much.
I don't know what the breakdown is. Somebody told me.
Let
but
me
it's
say
terrible.
something about Johnny Mathis. I've met 3 times. I've been in his company for a while, and he's the sweetest, shyest, most lovely, down-to-earth human being I've ever met. He's a man of God. He's a good guy, and a talent beyond belief. He sings like nobody in the world, and his music is played constantly over and over, and he doesn't get a penny. So all of you out there who love Johnny Mathis, write in.
All right.
Complain.
Anyway, I want to switch. I want to switch the whole
No,
conversation.
I think it's
now,
a good conversation.
But I want to
because-
switch now.
because we have an artist here who's being damaged by these bastards. I mean, if you were back in the old days selling albums, you'd make a lot of money today, because an album would be $20.
It's true.
The
Yeah.
80s, how many albums did you sell in the 80s? Your peak? Couple of million, right?
Well, I mean, the Cutting Crew albums is probably around a million and a bit, but I think in the 90s, I was working as a solo artist, and I didn't have the same success, right? So there isn't anything comparable for me in recent history between sales and streams. I wasn't making money on my solo stuff in the physical world. I'm not making it really very much in the digital world.
Yes.
But I have a new project, which I think I sent you a little link to, which is something very different for me, and which is something that I'm really excited about. And I've approached it in a slightly different way about how to build the profile of it and make it sustainable and successful.
So that's Awake. That's Awake.
So yes.
Awake is Tony's one-man show, live one-man show based on the music he wrote, recorded, and produced
See, that's how you
through
make
the
money.
lockdown to sold-out audiences around the country. So, and I read something that said it all started with like one guitar riff stuff, right?
Yeah, it was. Hang on, let me turn the reverb.
Oh my God, that almost sounds like the riff at the beginning of the TV show MASH. So tell us a little bit about Awake, and I actually have it set up that we can play the video so people have an idea. It's like a 4 or 5 minute video, but we'll
Are
play
they
it.
going to cut it out?
No, because it's not a music video. It's about your show video.
It's like an EPK of a bit. But the thing
That's
is,
the other thing. I'm not allowed to play anybody's music that comes on our show. We get your permission. You say, yes, Ron and Jimmy, play my music. We do. They cut us off. What the hell is going on? Is it a communist country? Do we have any more freedoms of any kind?
exactly.
Like Russia.
It's
Russia,
like,
man.
it's crazy. So that briefly, the whole thing about Awake is that during the first lockdown, I created out of that riff and a song from it, a whole album, 17 songs, concept album. So if you think a little bit Pink Floyd, a little bit Genesis, a little bit War of the Worlds, a little bit of kind of early Elton John or Alice Cooper, very theatrical. And I realized that just to release the album would be not a good move until people knew about it, because I'm not a high profile artist and I don't have a big record label. So I created the show that goes with the album. And in May 2021, I started doing it every month in London. I've done 40 shows now, and the shows are immersive. There's video, it's surround sound, it's an hour and 45 minutes, and it's just me. And I'm playing everything. I play all the lead guitar, the acoustic guitars, the pianos.
When are you bringing it here? When are you bringing it to America?
I am planning to come next year, Ron. That's my plan.
Okay, and if we come to your concert, we get comped. I never pay.
Yes, of course you do. You have to buy the album, but you get free tickets to come.
I'll buy the album anyway.
I'll buy the album, but I get comped. You know why I get comped?
Of course you get comped, Ron.
We're reporters. We cannot pay a ticket and then publicize you. That would be
No, that's not the way it works, is it?
we come for free. We come for free, and our payment is promoting you.
B wants you to go to Germany first. She said the music is
I
terrific.
want him here. I want him here first. Go to New York. We'll be in New York next year. That's a hell of an audience. That's a good audience.
So wait a second. Hang on. So because I actually have, so everybody can get an idea. Tell us a little bit about it, and then what I want you to do is introduce the fact that you have this video and it's the live show EPK, and then we'll play it for everyone. Our engineer will play it for everybody, and then you hang on, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Perfect. Okay. So basically, I've done it for 2.5 years, and what's been really wonderful for me is that every time I do the show, it's full, word of mouth. It's not the biggest theater, 80 to 100 people, but every single time I do it. And then about 3 months ago, I took a chance at taking the show outside of London, away from my fan base, on my friends, right? And 2 weeks ago, we sold out in a small theater about an hour and a half from London. Last weekend, we had a massive show on the coast, and I've just booked a theater. I'm going to announce it shortly in Guildford. Beautiful theater, 200 capacity theater. They love the show. They want to bring the show there. There's a little momentum happening with it. I've got some exciting news about what's going to happen in January, but my plan is to bring it to the States because it's a very unique thing. So I created an EPK that explains a little bit about how I created it, why I created it, and has little clips of the performances, so you get a little sense of the show.
Tony,
wait,
we have a very big audience in England. We really do. So tell everybody in England where you're performing next, so they'll come and see you.
Okay, July the 1st, I will be performing at the Camden Club, which is in North London. And if anyone kind of Googles Tony Moore and Awake or goes to tonymoremusic.com, all of the links are there. The London show is free. You just have to sign up and come and be part of it. And I'm just about to announce October the 22nd in Guildford at the Electric Theatre, which will be the one that I'm really going to push. But if you're in London, come on July the 1st to the Camden Club. It will be a very special event.
All right, take it away, Juan. This is the Awake Live Show EPK. Everybody, enjoy.
Yeah.
Awake is a show that blurs the boundaries between theatre, art, and music. I've been performing Awake now in London for over 2 years. I've had a residency with the show, and it's just been an amazing journey. The comments that I get back from audiences after they've seen the show really touch my heart, because somehow this personal journey of mine now seems to have a universal meaning to so many people.
Remember me, I'm the boy you used to be, playing guitar, making music constantly, whilst my ma was sitting knitting in the corner of the room.
Awake began as a guitar riff and an idea for a concept album that I managed to write, record, and finish producing in a space of just 2 months at the beginning of 2021. But as I was making the album, I knew this had to be a show. So I was already collating and editing video together that would go with each song. I had a real strong sense of how I wanted the show to feel and how I wanted it to affect people.
Just the start. 'Cause if it all seems fake, then we're awake.
One of the most exciting things about Awake for me is the fact that I don't think anybody can predict what's going to come next in the show. And if I'd never seen the show, I would have no idea. It's truly an experience rather than just a gig.
This is not normal. This isn't right.
Where there's life, there's hope.
Is it opium we're buying? Just a fix of fantasy?
But I want everyone to have a truly deep and profound experience. So at the end of it, we all together feel a little bit richer in spirit and in energy than we did at the beginning.
I know you look at me and think that I am nuts, but don't you worry, baby, I am okie dokie, righty ho, I'm just crazy, crazy, crazy in the shed. And there ain't nobody gonna fix what's inside my head.
I think for me the most exciting thing about Awake is that this was an idea that I had when I was very, very young, about 13 years old. I wanted to do a show like this, and I spent my whole life not quite doing it. I've had the most incredible journey in my life, and I've worked with some amazing people, but this is what everything's been leading to. This is what will make the 13-year-old Tony very proud.
Yay!
That's a very interesting video. I
Oh,
like
look,
that.
he has a different green screen now.
Very, very
Yes.
interesting. I have to say something, and I don't usually say things that aren't true. Everything I say is true. You have a damn good voice.
Thank you.
You can
Thank you
sing.
very much.
You can sing. Now, question.
Yeah.
If you were 19 today, would you be a rapper?
No.
Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Why? Why?
Well, because Ron Russell, I'm not the kind of guy that will just spit out some words and send them to the sky and let you all know that I'm the kind of person that's making music that isn't the worst music
You
you've ever
can
heard in your life before. No, I can't do that.
You can sing. That's why.
Is that your real background? Now, is that a real
No.
background?
No.
That's an awesome background, though.
It's not bad, is it? I'm going to keep that background. Basically, just at the end of that video, my camera and my computer went mad, and I was trying to fix it. Going, I've got like 8 seconds left, 5 seconds, 4, and it's like I got the picture back, but I didn't get the green screen back in the right place.
That's funny. So there's
Where are you from in London?
I'm in Clapham Junction, which is southwest London.
Because I'm familiar, I go to London quite a lot over the years. I've been there quite a lot. And I've learned now the different accents, south, north, east, and west. I hear different accents. Yeah.
Well, I'm from Bristol originally, in the West Country. So
right.
The accent for Bristol is a bit like this, Ron. The Ron Russell and Jimmy Star show is brilliant, and you should all be tuning in every blinking night and have a listen to the buggers.
Right.
Buggers. I like that. Buggers.
Michelle, you're a wonderful actress you have that we love and adore, Michelle Dougherty.
Dougherty.
You know Michelle Dougherty?
Yeah.
She's the lady from
Downton
she plays
Abbey.
Lady Mary in Downton Abbey. Ron loves her.
Wonderful actress.
Fabulous actress.
I think that she has the best English accent of all.
Well, I tend to agree with you, Ronald. I think
girl.
She's one of the fine actresses of our time.
I love her to death. I'm dying to work with her. I'd love to get her on the show. I keep telling Jimmy, get Michelle on the show. She's a brilliant actress. Everything we've seen her in, she's never the same person. She becomes the other character.
She's an actual real actress, because a lot of people play the same character all the time.
But you're a real singer. You see, there are real things today, but there are crap today. There's a lot of fakers out there, fake producers, fake actors, fake singers, fakers. They're not even trained. They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I liked in the video.
Everybody's in the business today. Haven't you found everybody in London is singing?
There's a lot of them. It's true.
Online, on the podcast. We have listen, Jimmy and I were the first show. We're on 14 years.
16
years
wow.
Before anybody was. Really, we were the number one first show on, and now
they didn't even have podcasts.
Now there must be a million people trying to trying to do our show.
So wait, I want to go back in the video, in the Awake EPK thing. There's one ballad that you're playing, and on the video, first of all, I loved all the graphics, even though we only got to see some. But all the stuff that flashed on the stage looked, on the
and
screen,
I like the
fabulous.
Tempo of the piano. And
but you did one ballady song,
and
it was pictures of like you with maybe your mom and some other
people. The tempo was very pounding, yet it was soft, but it was very effective.
I want to know what the ballad was. What song is that?
The song is called "Remember Me," and that song, I have to be honest, is the hardest song I've ever written, and even today, at some points, is the hardest song to ever sing because it's sung from the point of view of the 13-year-old Tony. So the opening line tells you all. It's remember me. I'm the boy you used to be.
Right.
And this is about how when we're young and we have these dreams of what we're going to do and we don't achieve them, as we get older, sometimes we might question why we didn't achieve them. Was it bad timing? Was it the wrong place at the wrong time? Or was I just not good enough? And sometimes, during the lockdown, when it looked like we were never going to do anything ever again because the whole world had gone crazy, although I've given you a little potted history of my blessed and wonderful life, the 13-year-old Tony wanted to be doing what I'm doing in this show Awake. And I never thought that I would get to do it. And so when I sing this song, it's really a song about the potential missed opportunities and not attaining your true potential. So I'm being so honest in this song that it's really hard to sing it because most of the time we can be a little bit honest, but hold a little bit of the vulnerability of our real soul back. But when you let go of everything and say...
It's a beautiful lyric. The lyric is wonderful because it does apply to everybody. I'm a very newcomer to the movie business. Right. I've been in the movie business for 64 years. And I'm a newcomer. That's what they say. Newcomer Ron Russell at 83 working. Forget that I was working with Sophia Loren and Tab Hunter at 19, but that's history. That was years ago. Right. So my thing is what your song says. It may take forever, but if you really stick there, you'll get there.
Absolutely.
Don't you believe that? I believe that.
I do. Persistence is everything, right?
Don't let them get you down.
You seem to have a very good time doing it as you're going along. I mean, all the comments,
like that lyric.
All the comments of anybody who ever comments or asks me questions about you is always, number one, that besides being a great musician, because that's kind of like a given, even though it shouldn't be, it's kind of a given, is that your personality is very warm and endearing.
Oh, yeah.
You're super nice to everybody. You're nice to all the fans. I mean, that's why people
I
love you
was
so
happy
much.
when I heard you were coming on the show.
Oh, thank you,
I
Ron.
said, "Who's coming on this week?" And another pain in my ass. He said, "No, it's Tony." I said, "Oh, Tony, I like him." I said, "Good. I'm looking. Some shows I look forward to, some I don't. Sometimes we have people on that are a bit difficult, like these
What?
woke. Just woke in England, the woke.
I think there's woke in many places in the world.
Those crazy things with a woman is not a woman, she's a them. And your parents are called God knows what. They're crazy, these people. So I tell Jimmy, find out if they're woke. If they're woke,
My,
I will
my,
not feel woke. They're crazy.
my thing, Ron, is that every single day I wake up, it's a blessing, right? I saw this little clip of a video which was really interesting, and it was somebody saying to a couple of people, "If I gave you $1 million right now, would you be happy?" And they went, "Yeah, of course." And then he said, "Okay, what if I gave you 10 million, but you don't get to wake up tomorrow?"
I see that on TikTok. That's on TikTok. I
Yes,
saw that.
exactly. And it's a really good thing, right? Because you suddenly go, hang on a minute, 10 million is worth nothing if I don't get to wake up in the morning.
That's
Right.
right.
Well,
So
yeah,
every day I wake up, I go, oh my goodness, I've got another day to do the things that I love, to see where the adventure takes me, and to enjoy the trip, right?
Who are you on TikTok? Tell everybody, because I put your,
I think it's Tony Moore Music.
okay. You guys follow
I'm
him.
bigger on
He
Instagram,
puts
but
a lot of videos up.
I need
see,
to build it on TikTok a bit more.
I do too.
I just turned 83 years old. So every morning I wake up, it's a happy time. And I would like to add to that happy time, 10 million would be nice a lot.
No, you don't get both of them, I'm afraid, Ron. You get one or the
And
other.
you know what? Screw it.
Exactly.
I don't need it.
He'll take the life.
I'll take the 1 million alive.
Right. But the adventure is that we've just spent an hour or so talking on a virtual journey of topics that none of us could have guessed we'd talk about at the beginning of the show. Yes, there was a bit of music, but then the fun is just enjoying the moment and going with the flow and seeing where we go, right?
Right. And that's how life is too.
Yes, exactly. Well, I know where I want to go, but how I get there is a million ways.
That's right.
Years ago, there was a thing called est, E-S-T, which in
Yes.
French means now. You live in the moment. I believe in living in the moment. Sometimes I go back too much to back years. I very rarely go future, but I love to live in the moment and enjoy the moment. Like right now, we're having a fun time. This is
Right.
the moment.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't know how to do that. They will watch this show and be unhappy because they're watching the show but thinking about what is bad in their life. And that you cannot do. You got to get rid of the negative, bring in the positive, and live in the moment. And that's what I think you do.
Yep, absolutely. Every moment of the day. And I'm just loving the journey, right? And I can't wait for you guys to see the show, because even though I know I'm going to have to give you 2 free tickets, I know that at the end.
Also,
We'll promote the shit out of it.
I'm not finished with my deal. We get VIP house seats.
Okay, VIP house seats. Yeah.
We're not going to be up in the balcony.
nose-
Oh no! It's VIP house seats. Yes.
I get VIP right up front so we can photograph.
I
you.
love it. I think the whole thing sounds like a
No, really.
terrific
Let me
show.
tell you something, Tony. If I didn't like your music, I wouldn't have offered. Trust
Thank
me.
you.
There's a lot of times we have people on that I don't want to say who, but I never say that I want to go to your. Even if they gave me 10 free tickets, I wouldn't go. Because to sit there for 4 hours and listen to
B.
that shit.
Claudio
they
wants
bang
you
out.
to go do your rehearsals in Germany so she can see it before you come to the United
No,
States.
B, bug off, B. He's going to New York first because I'm living in New York. We hope next year.
Okay. Well, let's start in New York and let's create a wave across the states, and then we'll bounce back over to Germany. I'll be all over the place.
There's
Absolutely.
a huge auditorium on Long Island that seats a couple of thousand people. You should get your agent to book you there.
No, you want to go to like Chelsea Table and Stage or someplace in New York.
Boy,
That's-
Long Island is where all the people.
I know, but 2,000 people is hard to fill. You start small and then you build, so you can't
There
start
you
with
go.
2,000
Why are
people.
you thinking that way? Think 2,000. If you get 1,000, you're lucky. Huh? Don't think 500. Always think bigger than. Listen, like we say, if you're shooting for the moon, grab a star.
A Jimmy Star or a Ron Russell Star?
Yes.
Right, Jimmy Star.
I like
That's not
Robert.
even his name. His name is James Stewart.
Don't tell people.
I'm not supposed to tell people your name.
No.
Why you cops?
No, but I don't
You're
want
a witness
stalkers. People can't find us if they don't know our real names.
Oh, they could find you in a minute. Or just look up Jimmy Star on Facebook on the thing there.
it
Tells
doesn't tell you
It
where
te-
anything
yeah,
about me.
listen, you want to know my real name? Pull up Ron Russell, and it goes AKA Ron Sorrego. Sorrego is my real name. What
I
are they going to
love it.
stalk me? Well, I'll shoot them right in the fucking head. In
All right, so you guys, first of all, follow Tony Moore on Instagram. He's at Tony Moore. He's also got a website for Awake, I think, because I wrote it down. Awake, www.awakemusic.info.
Correct.
He's also got TonyMooreMusic.com, so you probably have Awake information on that also.
Yep.
And then you can follow him on TikTok. He and I are both trying to build our TikToks, so follow his TikTok is at Tony Moore Music.
Perfect. Thank you, Jimmy.
I love
Appreciate
it.
it.
Am I on TikTok?
No, you're not on TikTok. I don't know. He's not on TikTok. I've only been on it for like about
I
six.
have no idea why people would go on TikTok to be known for what. They said they put a picture up of their ass, and everybody
It's all videos mostly.
So they put a video up of their ass.
Well,
And people like,
the biggest TikTok influencers are making $15-20 million a year.
put,
So
me on, put me on TikTok. I want to follow. Put me on TikTok.
we're not one of them though. So all right, Tony. So thank you so much.
Tony,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for the visit. You're a
Best
true,
of
you're
luck
a
with
true
it.
gem. And when we get to London, if you're in London, we're gonna hang out. In a
Absolutely.
nice pub.
And Cindy says
Okay.
send her stuff. Cindy
there's
says
a
send her
lovely
stuff and
little
she'll help
pub.
promote it.
There's a lovely little pub that you know it. It's called the King's Pub. It has sawdust on the floor. I think it's the oldest gay bar club. Not that you're gay, but I go there in London.
Right.
Queen's Head or the King's Head, somebody's head. But it's a wonderful place to go to. I have a lot of friends there, and they're a lot of fun.
Brilliant.
All right. So Tony, good luck with it.
Take care,
Thank
Tony.
you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
My
Yeah.
pleasure. Good luck, guys. I will see you very soon.
Yes.
See you in
Bye-bye.
New York.
Bye.
Hey.
Bye, Tony.
All right,
What
you
a
guys.
nice guy.
So we're going to take a quick music break. We're going to play one of Ron and I's favorite singers, who's a very dear friend of ours. Her name is Lily McLeod. The name of the song
Oh.
is What About the Beautiful Children? And when we come back from that, we'll bring on our next guest, Alexis Moreira.
Look, I have a wrinkle.
Enjoy, everybody. Here's Lily McLeod.
Look at that wrinkle.
Children can give us life and love. What about the children? What about the children? The beautiful children. Let them walk, let them run. Let us help them to have fun. We can help change the world. Change of the faces of people who lost so much. Children laugh, but they often cry. They're our future. You should know why. When they give me children, a part of us dies. What about the children? The beautiful children. Children should talk, they should sing. Even when we're old, we can be young. We should bless children with everything. What about the children? The beautiful children. It's a lovely day when you can say
Okay, so Lily McLeod, a very dear friend of Ron and mine.
I never get tired of hearing her sing that song. And Jimmy and I were discussing it. She has a better voice than anybody that's popular out there. Lily McLeod is a grandmother, number one, and she looks fabulous.
We met her when she was 53.
I met her many years ago. She's a darling person. She's kind, good-hearted. She's a Christian. She's a wonderful person who cares about people. She's very dear, very loving, very generous. I can't say enough about this woman except, Lily, where the hell are you?
Yeah, we're going to bring her back on,
We
you
want
guys.
you back on. Lily, I miss you.
All right.
Lily was in Europe for a couple of years. She's the hit of Europe. She performed in Italy, in Russia, all over the place, the Ukraine. But
We're going to bring in our next guest.
we're going to bring her on.
No, we're going to bring Lily on, but now we're
I
going to bring
know,
on our next
but
guest.
everybody, please buy that song.
I love it. All right, everybody.
That
Now,
song says so much
now
about
we're going to bring on our next guest. Let's make sure we can hear her. Hey, Alexis, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, good.
Fantastic. All right, let me do my
Excited to
introduction.
meet you. Excited to
Excited
meet
to
you.
meet you too.
All right, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, singer-songwriter Alexis Marrero. Hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jimmy. How are you guys doing today?
So
We're doing
good.
great.
This is my co-host, my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Ron Russell.
Nice to meet you, Ron.
Nice meeting you, honey.
And we have some people in the chat room. Say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hi, everyone.
Now, where are you phoning in from? Where are you right now?
I am based out of Cleveland, Ohio.
Perfect.
Where is she?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, I thought you'd be in Brooklyn. Why are you not in Brooklyn?
I don't know. I was born and raised here. I love New York, though. But I travel a lot.
Wait. Your father was from Ohio?
No, my father's actually from Puerto Rico. He met my mom here when he moved here, and I was born and raised here in Cleveland.
Do I have the wrong person I'm talking to?
You've never met her before.
Is she the mafia daughter?
No, that's next week.
Oh, I thought you were the girl next. I'm sorry. Honey, apologies.
So he doesn't research any
No,
guests.
I never researched because I wanted fresh. Next week, we have the daughter of a big mafia guy.
Who's not
That's
you.
why I was asking if you're from Brooklyn. I thought you were the mafia's daughter.
Which, by
That's
the way,
hilarious.
I just got a text message from Eileen Shapiro who says to make
Yes.
sure I say hello.
Hi,
We want to
Eileen.
give a shout out to Paula Ann and your mom, Angela. So we'll give a shout out
Yes.
to everybody because it's a lot of fun.
Okay,
you-
so tell me about what do you do? I want to know who you are and what you do.
I am a pop rock singer-songwriter out of Cleveland, Ohio. I've been trying to be a singer for about the past 6-7 years, posting covers, releasing original music, and recently rebranded to a more rock pop sound. And super excited to see what this year has in store for me.
Oh, it's
Good.
going to
I
be
can't
fabulous.
wait to hear your voice. Can you sing?
Thank you. I can sing a little if you want.
No, a lot of people can't sing, so they speak. They rap.
He hasn't heard
they,
anything.
They talk. I'm going to go over there now and get myself a bologna sandwich.
The only
That's the
guess
song.
that he knows who they are is if they've been on the show before. So, like, if they've been on the show
Right.
before, he knows who
No,
they are. Like the
you know
last
what?
guest we had on, Tony Moore, he's been on 5 times.
Yeah, I know him.
So we know him.
But if my interview with you, if I was rehearsed, is corny and crappy, I believe in truth. I don't know what I'm going to ask you. I have not a clue. It just comes to me.
I love it.
It's a spontaneity
So first of all,
of the interview. That
so first of all, you guys can follow Alexis on Instagram. Her
I'm never
Instagram-
going to ask you, when did you decide to be a singer? Because who gives a shit?
I will.
You are
I'll ask that.
You're a singer. And
So wait a second.
we want to hear you. And we want to know if you have a boyfriend, a girlfriend, if any friend. What are you doing with your life?
Hold on. Okay, so her Instagram, you guys, is official Alexis Marrero. Like she said,
And she's from Puerto Rico, and her father. And Puerto Ricans are my favorite Hispanic people in the world. I grew up with Puerto Ricans in New York. Those fried bananas, baby, and the cha-cha and the mambo parties that went on for 3 days.
hang on.
Mira. And they taught me something terrible.
No, don't say the bad thing.
They said, mielda. You know what mielda is in Puerto Rican?
No.
Puerto Rican.
Do.
Okay, anyway, forget it. All right, so first of all, you're a self-taught musician. What does that mean? It means like you just picked up a guitar one day or a piano or something and taught yourself how to do it? Like you didn't take any kind of lessons. And how many instruments do you play?
So I started playing music around 15. My mom bought me a ukulele and I taught myself how to play it. Eventually, I went on to try to teach myself some guitar and I taught myself some basic chords. So I had just been self-taught for a very long time until a couple months ago. I started taking voice lessons and now more recently guitar lessons to continue to learn more technical aspects and hone in on my training.
I know, I love it. Do you remember that girl? I don't know her name, but the girl who went on to America's Got Talent with the ukulele and played the song, and then she's a star and she's in movies and all kinds of stuff. So ukulele is fun.
We have a few friends in Ohio, and I've come to the conclusion that Ohio people are some of the nicest people you ever want to meet. No, seriously, I'm not saying that to make you feel good because I really don't care about that. But Ohio people, Meg Ruddick.
Everybody we meet from Ohio, they're like just nice people.
Our dear friend is Meg Ruddick, and she's the angel of angels, and she's from Ohio.
Okay, so
Midwestern thing for sure.
No, the Ohio people, for some reason, are very gentle and very nice. They're not tough like maybe New York or LA. Or LA, they're crazy. New York, they're just tough.
So hang on. So here's what we're going to do. First, I want to talk a little bit about so I met you guys, Alexis, when she released her last single called "Wake Me Up," which we're gonna play for everybody in a minute, and then we're gonna play the single. We're gonna bring her back, talk about some of the interviews that she did. She, besides being on our show, she also did On Air with Mario, which is a cool show, and she's got a brand new single that's coming out on. Oh shit! I wrote it down. I thought. Let's see. July 3rd, called "Floating Away." And she's also got a big concert on June 25th. So we're going to cover all of that stuff after we hear what you sound like so everybody can hear you.
Where are you going to be July 3rd?
No, that's a song.
Oh, see how I'm old. I'm 83 years old. Forgive me. You got to have a little patience with me. I thought you were singing somewhere July 3rd.
No, June 25th. She's singing somewhere.
I'm speaking. 2 fingers in the eyes. I'll blind you. I swear I will. No, I thought you were singing somewhere July 3rd, and I was going to say, I hope it's LA. We can come for the July 4th celebration. But my husband here decided to cut it off.
That's okay. So tell us a little bit about the song, "Wake Me Up." Tell us a little bit about it, and then after you tell us a little bit about it, I'm going to have you introduce the song. Our engineer's going to play the video for everybody so everybody can hear it and see it, and then we'll come back. You hang on, and then we'll come back and talk about it. But tell us a little bit about it.
So "Wake Me Up," it's probably one of my favorite songs I've ever written and recorded. But the story of "Wake Me Up" is about a really bad breakup. So if you've gone through a breakup recently or kind of lost touch with a friend you really cared about, the song is definitely for you. But it takes you on the journey of trying to find yourself after a breakup. After a breakup, you feel lost and you don't really know where to go and you still care about that person, but you're hurting.
Okay, you opened that door, dear. And when we come back, I intend to go there. You opened the door. I didn't do it. You didn't. I want to know who the son of a bitch was that did you dirty. Let's get that straight. Let's get that straight.
I didn't actually go through a breakup. I lost touch with some friends, and I think that inspired the song for me. But
it wasn't a lover. It wasn't a lover breakup.
No, it wasn't a lover that inspired the song, which is really funny. But I think a lot of times in life, there's hard lessons you learn about. Like things aren't always yours to keep. And
how old are you? 21?
I'm 23.
You know a lot about life. I love you already. You know something.
But the song really takes you on a story of dealing with that loss and eventually finding hope again and a new sense of self-worth.
I love it. All right, so now what I want to just say who you are, the name of the song, and then say "Play It, Juan," and he'll play it for us.
She's adorable. I love her.
All right, go.
Hey guys, my name's Alexis Marrero, and you're listening to my single "Wake Me Up."
Take it away, Juan.
Woke up in a stranger's bed
in the morning, coffee with a cigarette. Lost you by him. The world was never ours to keep. Not at all. And you were never mine. My love. Hit me up at 3 a.m. What's the big deal? Told me we're not meant to be. Keep on lying. Thought you loved me endlessly, but you were never mine. Wake me up from this nightmare. I'm lost all control. I don't belong here, but I'm finding my soul. You gotta wake me up when the morning. Told me you were moving on. 2 weeks later, so walking out your door, karma's knocking. Broken hearts aren't meant to bleed, but you were always mine. Wake me up from this nightmare. I'm lost all control. I don't belong here, but I'm finding my soul. And the world didn't, no fairy tale, nothing's as it seems. In this world, nothing's ours to keep. My love. It took me some time to find who I lost. Well, baby, I've had plenty. This time I'm moving on. Wake me up from this nightmare. I'm lost all control. I don't belong here, but I'm finding my soul. And the world didn't, no fairy tale, nothing's as it seems. In this world, nothing's ours to keep.
Yay! Alexis Marrero, everybody, wake me up.
I tell you, looking at you here, I see like a Catholic school girl, and then on the video, I see breastises, or they say, that are gigantices, like Eileen Shapiro is, and a voice that really works. I really like your song. You can sing, girl, and I'm happy to say that. You're sexy as all hell, with the leg hanging out and the cleavage and the voice. I said to Jimmy, that's the same girl. Holy shit.
Big voice.
Good voice. I like the high notes you hit. They're clean and beautiful. Yes, you can sing, my dear. I think you have a future.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
I think you have a future. I really do.
So one thing I find very cool about you too is that you do all kinds of things to give back. You have charity. You have a charity, which I actually wrote it down because first of all, during the pandemic, you did a thing for fans, Quarantine Concert Fridays. Which, how cool is that for your fans to be able to keep track of all the things that you're doing? And then you have a charity event called Saving Our Holidays Extravaganza, where influencers, singers, dancers partner up to raise money for the Salvation Army Christmas.
I think a lot of this comes from her father because Puerto Rican people have what they call corazón. Puerto Rican people are very good-natured, very loving, and when they're your friend, they go, ooh, they're very
Wait, what about?
I love that.
She's got a mother who's amazing.
Is your mom
French.
Puerto Rican also?
She's Italian. I come from a
like me.
Italian family.
So Italian, Puerto Rican, you don't get any better than that baby doll. can't get any better than that.
Everybody
It's
in
a
the
fiery combo, but very passionate and very loving for sure.
I mean, Italian, Puerto Rican, it doesn't get any
you guys, your family, you and your sisters and your mom were just recently like in Malibu or someplace, right? Yeah, because like everybody in your family is just gorgeous. Like everybody's beautiful. You have like a beautiful family.
Well, Italian and Puerto Rican.
He's
What do you
Italian,
want?
so he
I
like
love
takes.
it.
Italians are beautiful people. Some of them,
Mhm.
some of them are ugly, but beautiful. Not too many. I have an
Not too
uncle.
many.
I have an uncle that looked like Boris Karloff. You know who Boris Karloff was? He played Frankenstein in the early movies. And my uncle Carlene was a spitting image of Boris Karloff. He used to scare the shit out of me. When I went to Italy at night, I would think about, as a kid, and I would think about him coming through the hallways in that big house they lived in. Anyway, what am I
Actually,
talking about?
what's your actual website for everybody to go to? I didn't write it down. Is it official AlexisMorero.com?
My website is www.alexis-morero.com.
There we go. Okay, you guys.
What
so
was your
it's-
mother's maiden name?
Miola.
Miola.
hmm
I love it.
You should use it.
Yeah, my last name is technically hyphenated, but
No,
it just
I would use.
Oh, it's too much for a rock star, though. You can't have it too long a name. People can't remember.
Well, Miola's a nice name.
Oh wow, somebody's walking up to our door. I think. Anyway, so sorry, somebody just rang our doorbell. So we have two dogs. Come here, Astro. Come here.
You want to go see it?
No,
dog.
Well, who is it?
I don't know. No, they dropped the package off. Astro, stop.
Astro.
We love dogs, so we have 3 rescues.
Yes.
Everybody watching the
Astro,
show's used to it.
Astro,
I love that. I love dogs. So cute.
Oh my god, that's the 7-pound dog. The big dogs don't make a lot of noise, but the little dog makes a
We
lot
used
of
to
noise.
work out of a studio. Then came
Mhm.
COVID, so
After
we-
COVID, we started doing it from our house, and we just
Now-
stayed it.
Yeah, now we stay with it. So now this is
Absolutely.
So okay, so
listen,
here's
our
what.
show is just like I tell everybody. You're our friend in our kitchen having coffee with us. You know,
I
dogs
love
bark.
that. Yes.
There's no bullshit in this show.
Totally.
Oh, no, I can't stand those phony shows where they
Oh yeah.
us like saying to you, "Oh, so you're from Ohio? That's so quaint."
Okay, so I want to know what kind of musicians like influenced you growing up? Like so you started doing this at 16, you're 23, so you have 7 years into it.
She could be my granddaughter. You could be my granddaughter.
In the meantime, okay. hold on. So who did you listen to growing up? Who was like big for you?
So my mom was a huge rock fan, huge Bon Jovi fan. So
Okay.
I grew up on a lot of Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi, really?
Yeah. My sister and I grew up on them. I listened to a lot of Maroon 5.
I like that.
Elvis Presley, Ed Sheeran was a huge inspiration for me growing up, especially my younger teenage years. Really resonated to him and his lyricism as well.
I like Ed Sheeran, but I don't know. See, it seems like he hasn't been around that long for him to have been in your teen years, but I guess he has.
My young teen years, like as a 13, 14
As a 13, 14-year-old. Bon Jovi, I love Bon Jovi. I actually
I
saw
met
this.
him. I met him.
No way. My mom did too.
I met Bon Jovi, and I got a picture from him autographed for my daughter Deirdre. And I never knew I met him.
She didn't know who he was.
And then wait a minute. One day I went in my daughter's bedroom, and on the door was the boy. And I said, "Oh, I know that boy, the blonde boy." My daughter said, "Daddy, you know him?" I said, "Yeah, that's what's the name's kid."
so funny because I worked at
I had no idea who he was.
We live in California now, but when I lived in Florida, all the recording artists I worked with worked out of a studio called Bon Jovi Studios, and it was Tony Bon Jovi, who's the cousin of Bon Jovi, who actually produced their first album and everything. And so I'm very familiar with the whole group of it all. And I just watched this video on TikTok, and it said that the 10 musicians who are like not the nicest to their fans or whatever, and I'm a big Maroon 5 fan, but they said Adam Levine is not that nice to his fans, and I was kind of disappointed.
Bon Jovi was very nice.
I'm not talking about Bon Jovi now. I'm talking about somebody else.
Oh.
What about solo artists? Because those are mostly like bands. Did you have any solo? Oh, well, Elvis was a solo artist. I'm not a big Elvis. I wasn't big with Elvis.
Never met him either.
Yeah, for me, I feel like right now my music influences have definitely changed as I've gotten older. Miley Cyrus is a huge influence for me.
Love Miley
especially
Cyrus.
Plastic
I
Hearts.
do too.
Oh,
I like Miley Cyrus.
Ron, we watched Miley Cyrus hosted New Year's Eve on
And
about
she
4 or 5
looked
years ago,
so-
and he was like,
Oh.
"Oh my God, she's so elegant, like an old classic movie
She
star."
was in the most beautiful evening gown with this long fur to the floor.
Oh.
She just looked absolutely like every woman should look. Learn from her. Learn to be
absolutely.
beautiful and glamorous, because you know what, honey? We need beauty and glamour in the world. All women
Definitely.
look like shit today. They look like I don't know what. They look like rag pickers with ripped everything and torn and no makeup and hair in a rubber band. You know, my day, everybody dolled up.
Wait, I like that.
The
though.
Mother's Day too.
Miley Cyrus, I like. So, who are some of the current people who are out now? Actually, I got a better question for you. Let's flip it around because I always ask this question anyway. So, you're getting ready to go on tour, and you can go on tour with any three
Were there
bands.
already?
No, but I'm just talking about it because it goes with the conversation. So you can
It
go on
usually
tour.
does this at the end of the
You
show.
can go on tour with any three bands that have ever living or dead. But let's do living and dead. Let's do living and dead, baby. Because like I want to know who you listen to now. Like if you were going to go on tour now, who's three bands or solo singers or stuff that you'd be like, oh my God, I want to go on tour with these people.
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, definitely Miley Cyrus, of course.
Yeah.
Really,
I'd go too.
I would too.
I want to be part of your entourage so I can go hang out with her.
I would like to meet Miley also.
she's so cool, and I love the rasp in her voice. It's just, it's so good. I'm also like a huge Greta Van Fleet fan. Huge.
Oh wow.
Greta Van Fleet.
Greta Van Fleet.
Never heard of it.
Okay.
They're a newer. I shouldn't say new, but their first EP came out in 2017. They're a modern rock band, and I love their music. They have a very Zeppelin-esque sound, which I love, and I've been a huge fan of theirs for years. So I think they would be another one I would love to open up for. And then I feel like the third artist would probably be Youngblood. I don't know if you guys
I love Youngblood.
I love him, and I love his message. I love what he stands for.
And
I
he's
love
so
the
cool to
community.
his fans. He's so. I follow him on Instagram and on TikTok.
I love
and
his
he's
TikTok.
So cool to his fans, and he wears a lot of pink, and I love pink, and his music is really good. He's a
And
British
I
actor.
think
British.
and I think I live in a time capsule. Because I have no idea who these people are. I'm going to throw some at you now. I'll get even. Peggy Lee. Peggy Lee. Do you know who that is?
I'm not sure that I do.
Doris Day.
I've heard the name.
Johnny Manthis.
I definitely feel like I've heard the name.
Patty LaBelle.
Definitely know of Patti LaBelle. Yeah.
You know Patty.
So no Patti
Okay,
LaBelle.
Patty, you know. So those are names.
Johnny Mathis is his favorite singer, and Johnny
Favorite.
Mathis has sold the most albums out of any person in
in
history.
the world.
Wow.
And let me tell you something. If I were you, I would listen to a few songs of Peggy Lee's.
Okay.
Peggy Lee had an incredible way of making you want more. And when she sang, it was as if she sang only for you. How singers do that, I don't know how they have that talent. But I've worked shows, I was on the Broadway, not off Broadway, and I've seen performers that grab an audience and captivate them. And I've seen some that can't do shit. So if I were you, I would really sort of listen to Peggy Lee and try to follow and understand what it is about this woman that was so engrossing. Is that such a word as engrossing?
Yes,
Mhm.
encapsulating,
Encapsulating and engrossing. Seriously, you could learn a lot from the old bags because they were
Absolutely.
superstars. These people were superstars.
Absolutely. I feel I've been listening to a lot of like 70s and 80s rock lately. So
I love 70s and 80s.
Did your father like Santana?
I
You
don't
know,
know.
You're Puerto Rican and you don't know Santana. Shame
I know
on
the
you.
name, but I don't know if he listened to Santana.
So we actually named one of our dogs.
Wait,
There's that song.
Tito Puente. Tell your father if did he dance to Tito Puente?
I'll have to ask him.
That is huge.
Tito
So we have
Puente
a-
was Puerto Rican.
I'm
and
sure he knows.
probably the biggest Latin American star of stars. Big.
I like love it. So
Learn, learn your culture.
I love.
Learn
So
your
I go on
history.
Spotify and I listen to a lot of 70s playlists and I listen to yacht rock also. But we have a dog named Brandy and we even named it after the song "Brandy, You're a Fine Girl," which I know you know the song because they play it all the time in the day. So we named one of our dogs after that.
Well, she's called Brandy Girl.
Let me ask you a question. Do you like Justin Bieber at all?
I do. I listened to him all growing up. My sister, we went to a lot of his concerts. He's awesome.
I love Justin Bieber. Like, I think Justin Bieber is like the awesome. So I'm trying to actually get him in a movie I'm working on. But I think that he is freaking like awesome, and I like love him to death.
Who do I like? That's
What about Gwen Stefani?
Oh, Gwen Stefani.
Is she too old for your
is
generation?
she the one with the meat?
No, I grew up
That's
on
Lady
some Gwen
Gaga.
Stefani.
I like Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga's so cool. Oh,
She can sing opera and pop. I know one at least. I know Miley and Lady Gaga.
And you know Gwen Stefani probably.
Gwen Stefani.
You know, Gwen
she's the
Stefani is
fat
a still
one, right?
no, she's not fat. She's
Who's the fat girl with the beautiful voice?
Oh, Adele. She's not fat
Adele.
anymore. She's
Adele,
not fat
I
anymore.
Adele is
Who likes Adele?
I like Adele.
So
she's awesome.
So, all right. So we've got 10 minutes. I want to make sure we cover your show. So June
Yes.
25th, you have a show in Lakewood, Ohio, at a place called Mahal's.
Mhm.
And so, tell us, you're the headliner, right?
Yes, I'm headlining, and I haven't played in Cleveland in like 5-6 years, so I'm getting super amped for this show.
I love
Wait,
it. So,
I
do you
have-
have a band?
Wait, I have to tell you something. If you're headlining and closing, you get more money than everybody else. You know that.
Yes,
I
definitely.
just want to be sure. Headliners get paid more than the rest.
So, wait a second though. Do you have a band then, or like when you play, do you have a band you play with, or do you just go out do it on your own?
Yeah, so in the past, I'd done it on my own. And when I was doing Boys of Summer Tour, I had brought dancers. But recently, since I've shifted more to a rock pop kind of sound, I brought in a band, and I have an amazing group of musicians around me who are so sweet and helpful. And they've really pushed me as an artist and a singer as well to become better. So I love having the band around.
It's a very different, right? Than singing to a track or something. It's way different.
Oh, live.
So different.
I love live. I did a lot of, as we say, the boards. I worked the boards I'm in the business 64 years. Half of my life was on the boards, and I loved it. 350 people watching me, and I was controlling their moods and making them laugh, and it's a wonderful feeling if you're a control freak.
So wait, have you
And
played with
Jimmy's
the
a
band?
control freak.
Have you played with the band a bunch of times yet, or is this going to be your first time playing a live show with the band?
So I started playing with the band back in, I think we started rehearsing together in February, and our first show was in March. So we've only played, I'd say, like 4 or 5 shows together so far. So
Okay.
not
So you're
many.
still getting to know each other.
Yeah, but we've always had a great chemistry on stage. The first show we played together, everyone was like, "How long have you guys been playing together? You sound so gelled and so together." I'm like we've only known each other for a few weeks. I'm like,
No,
so it's
that makes it
easy.
fun. So now, do
No,
you
but
play only your own?
I think your personality opens those doors.
Yeah, I think so too.
Thank you.
Make,
Yeah.
make it easy for people to want to work with you and do their best. If you're a bitch and cold-hearted, I know I've worked with some actresses and actors that were real garbage, and you don't want to work with them, so therefore you feel held back. But if you work with somebody you love, you want to make them wonderful too.
Absolutely.
And I think what you do is you make your band feel wonderful.
Absolutely. I mean, they're a huge asset to my team, and they're a part of creating
Well,
the magic on
they're
stage.
your act.
No, I love it. So when you play, do you play?
Without them, we're going to sing
do
with
you-
rubber bands.
Do you play only originals? Do you play all your originals, or do you also do covers in originals, or what? How do you actually set your show up?
So I do a mix of covers and originals. Since I'm still building my catalog, especially since kind of implementing a new style, I definitely have been doing more covers and bringing in some originals. So I play a couple originals, and then I'll do a mix of some modern pop songs as well as some classic rock.
So what are some of the songs that you like to play as covers? I know your YouTube channel has like different ones on it, but what are some of the songs that you like to play as covers?
So some of my favorite covers we've been doing out, My favorite is Highway Tune by Greta Van Fleet. So much fun. It's so much fun to play, especially with the band. We also do a cover of Flowers, and I love that one. The crowd always loves it because it's a song we can all sing together. And I think a big part of my picking in terms of my set list is trying to find covers that either are going to be really fun for the band or, more importantly, that the crowd is going to know and be engaged in.
Wait, who sings Flowers? I don't know if I know Flowers.
Miley.
Oh, that's a new Miley song. That kind of new one. Okay, yeah, I used it on a TikTok video. Okay, no, that's a great song.
It's a great song.
It's a great
So
song.
fun.
So what is some of the rock stuff? What is some of the like classic rock you would play?
So we have been working on a cover of I Love Rock and Roll by Joan
Oh,
Jett.
Joan Jett.
So
I know Joan Jett.
love her. And we've done Sweet Child of Mine by
Guns N' Roses.
I know Guns N' Roses too.
Yeah.
We actually have some friends who are in Guns N' Roses that we've hung out with. And we
have and in Pink Floyd, we have the guitarist from Pink Floyd's a very good saxophonist. I'm sorry, and the drummer Kenny from everybody.
Kenny, he's with everybody. So
Pink
yeah,
Floyd
we know a lot of rock star people.
Yeah, a lot.
And it's so funny because when I was in high school, Joan Jett was huge, and we actually went and saw Joan Jett opened up for the Police. So it was Joan Jett and the Police and Loverboy. Joan Jett, Loverboy, and the Police.
I remember the Police.
And
I have two daughters, and my daughters were young in the 80s, so I learned music, from them.
So
wait, hang on. But they've heard so much Johnny Mathis that my daughter, one is 54, one is 47, and they love Johnny Mathis. So you see, music belongs to everybody. It's ageless. There's no such thing as old-fashioned or out-of-style music.
Totally agree.
One advice I want to give to you is you're lovely. Don't let the evil bastards crush you.
Oh, thank you
There
so
are
much.
many in our business. I will tell you, you have a long road ahead to great success. Do not let one of them ever make you feel less than who you are or less than what you can do. Just say to them what Jane Russell, the movie star, taught me, the famous expression, screw everything. That was a famous word. Screw them, screw this, screw that.
She might not know who Jane Russell is.
Well, Jane Russell was a very famous movie star. She was
like Marilyn Monroe.
She played with Marilyn Monroe in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Anyway.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she taught me, screw this, screw that. I want to teach it to you. If they get in your way, simply say, screw you, and keep going, because that's how you get to the stairway to success. And you're adorable.
Thank you, Ron.
I wish you all the very best.
So let's talk real quick. We got 4 minutes left. So
and you can sing.
On your show, June 25th, let's give a little props to some of the people. So you're playing with 4 other bands. Is that right?
Yeah, we got Janet Nightingale, Redacted, The Stereotypes, and Recess.
And what kind of music are they all rock, kind of like pop rock people also?
So Recess does a little bit of a style they like to call epic pop. So they're kind of like the 1975 Coldplay-esque kind of music.
Okay.
I haven't met the other artists. I think they kind of do probably a little bit of a mix of pop rock, and I know Janet has a little bit of a Spanish style to her as well.
I love her name, Janet Nightingale. I mean, she should be like a comic book superhero.
Also sounds like a stripper. From Burlesque. That was years ago. Listen, Alexis, if we have 5 million people that are going to watch this show, what advice or what word have you got to give these 5 million people of good?
Oh, wow. I love that. Well, I feel like my best advice that I can give to people is honestly kind of how you were saying, Ron. I mean, I think a lot of people, whether you're in our kind of industry or not, I think there's a lot of people that are going to tear you down. And I think we live in a very negative age where the internet and I think a lot of the media kind of brings people down. And I think it's important. Yes. And it's important to remember to keep going, try to dig deep, try to find what motivates you to keep going and try to block out the hate. Now, and if it doesn't, let it fuel you. Sorry. Let it fuel you, because you know, there's people that have told me that I wouldn't make it, but and I haven't yet. But
Oh yes, you have. Oh yes, you have. You're on our show. Nobody gets on our show if they're not somebody. No, really. We do not have nobodies on our show.
We've got 1,100,000,000 downloads of our show.
Yeah.
Wow.
If I tell you Jimmy's computer is filled with people saying, "Can I be on your show?"
You get about
Oh yeah, you got to see how many
500 requests a month.
500.
We only have 8 spots. We only have 8 spots a month.
8 spots, and he gets about 500 people. No, that want to be on this show. So
Well,
my
you guys are
darling,
amazing.
so my darling, you are somebody, or you would not be on our show. Never do that negative. I got to teach you. Get that negative crap out of your head.
Oh,
You might not be, you haven't gotten to your highest level yet, but you're
You're only 23 years old.
And I also
you're wet behind the ears.
when I Googled you, I found all kinds of things that said with attached to your name is that you're an advocate for positivity. And so
oh God,
so
Do
so
my-
is he.
read
So
my
you guys
face-
you guys are exactly alike.
You should read my Facebook page every day. All
I should.
I write about negative people and thoughts. I get vomit. If I hear somebody's negative, I leave a room. I can't even stand to listen to stupid talk. Democrat hates Republican, Republican hates Democrat. Jesus Christ, we're all American. Let's get together and let's all vote on somebody that's going to clean up this crappy country, the mess they've made of it with the police and the riots and the killing and the Tesla cars exploding.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree more.
Wait, we're out of time though. Hold on, everybody. So this is Alexis Marrero, you guys.
Alexis,
If you're in
you're
Cleveland,
adorable.
Ohio, check out her show June 25th. Her brand new single "Floating Away" is on July 3rd. It's coming out, and check out. Just Google her in YouTube, you guys. You can see all she got tons of videos and everything, and follow her Instagram officious Alexis Marrero, and it's alexis-marrero.com for her website. We want to thank you for coming on
I
the
have
show.
I have a message for your mother and father. Please tell them Ron Russell said they did a damn good job with you.
Oh, thank you, Ron. And thank you guys so much for having me. Also, shout out to Eileen and
You're
Paula.
gonna come back.
my
You're
mom.
gonna come back.
Thank you guys so much. You're amazing, and I love you both.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thank you for
Bye,
tuning in,
everybody.
everybody.
Next
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Can turn out to be so wrong. Yeah, we in the mix. Yeah, we in the mix. It's another episode. Here we go. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Interviewing the hottest, newest, and truest of today's celebrities. Make sure to subscribe so you can get notified weekly. Jimmy Star, he's the king of cool. Ron Russell, he's a gorgeous dude. Chat room is live and you would be a fool not to vibe with us at the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. So come watch it live on W4CY Radio. Miss some past episodes? Download on iTunes. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. It's the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell.